plant. Just get out there and get stuff done. Pick something from the resource-based economy that you find really interesting, that you're passionate about. Find the smallest, simplest way to start nibbling away at that in the real world. Get out there and do it. Don't ask for anyone's permission to do it. When you ask permission to do something, what you're really doing is asking someone else to take responsibility for your actions. That's why you have to ask them permission. You're saying, please, sir, will you take responsibility if what I'm doing goes to shit? And put yourself in their shoes. What's the easiest thing to do? Just turn around and say no. Especially if it's something that sounds bizarre and weird that's not based on capitalism. You're actually doing something that's going to benefit the planet and people and animals and life. No, that's far too... That's completely out there. You're a lunatic. They'll just say no. So never ask for permission. Just start doing it. One thing I would say, if you're going to grow food in public spaces of your own garden, check that the land isn't polluted. Lots of new housing estates, for example, are built on old landfill sites or old industrial sites, and you'll find lots of toxins in the soil. That's actually why the authorities have some regulations over where you can grow stuff. It's not just craziness behind it. There is actually some method to the madness. But you need to go out and check. If you go online, you'll actually find all sorts of tutorials for finding out what's in your soil. An easy way is to find your local horticulture society or a nearby university that's got some sort of, ecology or botany department, something like that. Even sometimes the local authorities, they'll do free soil samples or very cheap soil samples. So just check the soil's not polluted before you go planting food in it. But get out there, get shit done. That's my ultimate message. As long as people are sat at home doing fuck all, none of these movements towards an RBE will change anything. Get out there today.
So there we have it, ladies and gents. That is the feedback that I've been asking for. And, it is, even though it is a bit of a kick in the teeth to basically say, be told that we're not really achieving much, I recognise that we need to hear things like this in order to be able to see from an external perspective, or maybe even an internal perspective, but an external from what we're all each respectively doing, to be something that can provide an incentive to give us a kick up the arse to actually, do something in order to change this world for the better. It's not going to serve us for us each to be kissing each other's asses saying, oh yeah, you're brilliant, yeah, you do good. Instead, just, if you recognise that people are, talking the talk and not walking the walk, then, they need to be asked, are you, please tell me, are you doing something to actually physically make this world a better place? And the thing is, for all the rhetoric that we give out, that we need to actually, as the saying was in the previous recording, get shit done. Even though, we say a lot about that, but not everyone is capable of doing that sort of thing. It's the same reason why you can't expect everyone to be a megaphone activist. I recognise that because that is something that I'm capable of doing. I don't have a huge amount of social anxiety, as it were, or things like that. I have the courage and the wherewithal to actually get up in the middle of a high street with a megaphone. Does that mean that I should denounce or badger anyone who isn't a megaphone activism? No, it's just the fact that there are different things that different people can do, and as I've said in the past, we all have our unique talents. A game of chess is not won by all of us being the same game piece, and that's why there is a thin line that we need to walk along when considering these kinds of things, because yes, a certain amount of Facebook activists, or armchair activists as it were, are required. Okay, it is okay for some people to be armchair activists if they really cannot interact effectively with the outside world, either through maybe some disability, or some stunted emotional growth, or psychological dysfunction they may suffer from. I mean, a lot of people have problems, and more these days, people are having more and more problems. So I recognise that there should be a certain amount of people who do this, but the reason I would agree that the whole like lever thing that the last recording was talking about, even though I would agree that it is in part an addiction to say, oh yes, I'm making the world better by liking something. While I recognise that is part of it, I'd say that isn't the whole story. I would say that there is maybe an inherent fear in standing up and actually getting something done. There's an apathy and a lethargy about in regards to getting active in social change, actually getting out there and doing something. The fear against doing something like that is heavily enforced by the it's created, perpetuated, and enforced by the current value system. Because if it didn't do that, then the current system would not exist. If it incentivized people, or at least allowed people to get away with thinking, yeah, I'm going to actually do something, then the establishment would have been over like that hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Okay? Things would have changed far quicker if the establishment didn't create the apathy and lethargy that it does. So I can understand that a lot of people are very apathetic and lethargic about this. But there's a couple of ideas, because I'm quickly running out of time now. There's a couple of ideas that I was actually discussing with Guy, and for something, if you're the kind of person who spends all their time on Facebook, right, or all your time on discussion forums or something like that, me and Guy came up with the idea of a, instead of like a megaphone activist or a blogger or something like that, we came up with the title of a reloader. And what this is that people who have a passion for a certain subject, like Guy gave the example of talking about horticulture and plant life and all the other interconnected subject matters that are interlinked with that sort of thing. He can know as much as he likes about a particular subject, but if he doesn't, he can know all he likes about plant life itself, but if he knows nothing about soil, then he's screwed, basically. So so we came up with the idea of people who, if they have specialist interests, then they can really absorb loads of information about those subjects, and they will become the go-to people for certain subjects. And the reason why I chose the term reloader is very much like for someone like me, who's mainly a communicator of information to the public in the physical realm as well, both in the online realm of making podcasts, videos, documentaries, and eventually, as of next year, I'm going to be making music as well. I also get out there in the public and speak out on the megaphone, and sometimes, I don't have as much time for research as someone who spends most of their time on the computer, getting to know about their specialist subject. So in a sense, the people out there on the megaphones and out in the public and, doing debates and stuff like that, actually getting out there and communicating this to people, they can, buddy up, as it were, with other people who specialise in those subjects. And they say, right, well, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be having a debate with someone on the issue of hydroponic farming. I don't know a huge amount myself, so I need to consult people who do know, and I need them to give me good sources of information so I can then, and then you can find, maybe we can create a Facebook page or something for specific specialities and people who are really passionate about that kind of thing, and they can say, yes, this these are this is my interest, and then they can be used as hotbeds for between other people of the same interest. There may be one or two of the same interest at least, and they can bounce ideas, and they can become more concentrated and not just become go-to people, but go-to groups for that kind of thing. So if like I said earlier, I say, for example, in 2 weeks I'm going to go debate someone, and I need to know about hydroponic farming, I can go to that go-to group and say, right, hit me guys with your best information, give me some links, give me some sources, load me up, as it were, give me the ammo that I need to go out there and use. Okay. So that's an idea that me and Guy had. It's called the Reloaders thing. It hasn't been completely fleshed out, but I think it's got the potential for a good idea. There's other ideas that I've been playing around with lately, but I haven't got enough time to talk about them on this particular podcast. But so I guess I'll have to start wrapping it up in a minute. But yeah, as I said, these none of the all the interviews in this podcast. Don't take it personally, guys. Don't react to it with an emotional thing to basically say, oh yeah, he's saying we're not doing anything. Yeah, fuck you. No, use it as a kick up the arse to actually think, yes, I do need to do something, and get motivated to do it. But anyway. So this is all the time we have for this particular podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening. I'd like to thank Rhoda, Guy, and Javier for their contributions. Guy mainly got most of the volume of content. So thank you very much for that, and also for the discussion on the Reloaders idea. It's just another thing for us to be thinking about and need to be putting out there. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for your contributions. It's been edifying for me, at least, and thank you everyone else for listening. But as I said, on the 14th of December now, I'm going to be releasing my documentary Life on the Soapbox. I'm going to be doing a premiere screening of it on the 14th and then releasing it online the next day. Also, word from our sponsors. We're sponsored by Holy Cow. Go to www.holycow4u.com and enter the code name Adam to get 25% off your first sow. So that's it from us. You take care now. Have wonderful lives.